stream. I didn't tell anyone that we were streaming. That's what I forgot. There's always something. There's at least one thing. How ungodly loud is this? How horrible is this to look at?
Well, it's pretty horrible to look at. It's not too loud for me.
Okay. It looks
I can
like
check
it's
on the stream.
it looks like it's about where it was for the other Resident Evils, but this is also just menu clicking, and so maybe it should be a little quieter. Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That looks better. And then we can adjust as need be.
So much clicking.
Yeah. It's just horrible. Let me send out this announcement so that people know that we're doing the Resident Evil thing.
Yeah. It's one on my channel now too.
Perfect. Now everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait. What do you mean small dynamic range?
Just a little dynamic range.
What if I want large dynamic range? I don't understand what any of that means.
It's just a little dynamic range.
Match my surroundings. I'm in an office. I wouldn't necessarily consider it small, nor would I consider it large. But yeah, the only other thing that I did was I did rebind a couple of keys. Because they wanted interact to be left click or F. And they wanted switch ammo to be E. And I was like, that's backwards. That's incorrect.
That's wrong.
I can deal with F being interact in some games, but to have E be like I don't know, E to change ammo type is weird and I don't like it. Also,
yeah,
high flowers.
E is just the interact key, right? That's
yeah.
just how it works.
Yeah. I know, like, a lot of Japanese games like to have F as the default for interact, and so, like I said, I can kind of adjust to that, but you can't put anything other than interact on E. That's what that is.
Won't need to change ammo much, right?
Or
do we get, like, the special good ammo for everything, and then we get the grenade launcher?
That's a good question. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've played original 3. And I've never played this one. I'm excited to experience this one fresh and new with you. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know why I said it that way.
We're gonna see Uncle Nemesis. Also, high flowers.
Uncle Nemi.
Flowers thinks the dynamic range is gonna burst through the PC tower.
Sorry, we were just talking about live action stuff not being involved in video games or in Resident Evil. Here we freaking are. Oh. If I were to push escape, it doesn't give me any any sound options. Okay. Because it is quite loud. We'll cope with it for now. Just know that I know that it's loud. And we'll fix that. Also, hi, Nem.
The CDC is quarantining.
No time for bingo right now, Nem.
Raccoon City's facing a whatever crisis.
Doing so good. Probably. You could probably call a zombie outbreak a crisis.
I was trying to think of the right word, and that's the only one that could come up, and it's correct.
It's this foundation that will continue to build a brighter future for all of us.
Thank you, Resident Evil 3, for bringing back live-action people.
We need to see Wesker come in his hair, though. Like a big old goober.
Yeah.
And Barry Burton, and he needs to zoom in on him and go, Barry Burton! Barry Burton!
I just need the Resident Evil games to bring back the Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's what.
Because it's classic, iconic. Resident Evil. Resident Evil? There's no code name. Man's name is None.
Mr. None.
Damn, you live like this? It's not that bad. That's just the thing that I say right now. It's like the Cyril, huh?
You also said the Cyril Hall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Me going like, damn, you live like this is the same thing as the Cyril, huh? It's just what I say now.
You said the Cyril Hall more than Cyril
Hall?
says the Cyril Hall.
Yeah.
It's a good noise though.
It's such a good sound.
The TV's broken.
Oh, I thought she was gonna open that, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
don't do that. Why was... TV's probably broken because the window is freaking open! You fool!
I'm the rain.
A
Home.
book called Home. Home?
And then there's the conspiracy wall,
Of course!
like you do.
No apartment is complete without the conspiracy wall. I can't crouch, so I can't look at any of those things. Can I read these? Oh! Wait, do that again. Do that again, that was funny.
She rubbed her face all over it.
Okay.
Okay, I saw Jill outline.
I don't know if that's Jill. Could be anyone.
I think this is Nemesis in a wig.
I bet he'd look
Green
good with
herbs. Good feeling.
the... I like these. Earth. 90s. There's one that just says kiss. Oh no.
Kiss. Kiss Nemesis.
Why did she put this Earth sticker on upside down? You silly, silly lady.
Yeah, it's an unfoster. Also like Paul's hamburgers. Can't
Hendo?
remember. Hey.
Yeah, Paul's Hamburgers. Moon's Donuts.
Thanks, Moon.
Wow, Jill must like donuts. I mean,
Bugs?
who doesn't?
Makes sense.
I love burgs. I am me. Okay, I guess I should probably go turn the water off because it's just been on. I need to change the volume. Remember how I said I knew that the volume was too loud and then proceeded not to turn the volume down?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Maybe it's all that dynamic range getting in everything. Jill! She whipple!
I make her wiggle. I'm sorry. Jill! Jill, you look great! I mean, you look like you've had a rough time, but... Jill! Oh, she knows she knows bleed. Gotta get tissue for that. Oh, wait!
Aww.
My poor lady!
Yeah, Alex not okay. He got red on you.
Get her some moisturizer or something. Her skin shouldn't crack like that. That is not moisturizer, Jill.
Also, that's clearly a Glock and not a Kendo custom 9mm.
She needs some milk. What a dream, am I right?
Gets worse every night.
Aw.
Wait, why does your thing say escape
more
Raccoon
days.
City?
Then I can kiss this town goodbye.
Oh, because you're leaving. I understand. Who's this dog? Hey, Jill, who dog? Who the fuck is that?
I have no idea who that is.
Those are mildly horrifying.
That looks scary, yeah.
Yeah. But that dog is cute.
Yeah.
Oh. Lights on. Why is everything so wiggly? Oh, I guess the fan is pointed at it. Okay, that makes sense. Never mind.
So hi, Emmy. How you doing?
How are the friends today? Jill's report! September 26th, 1998. It's already been 2 months since that mess with Umbrella. Thanks to the suspension, investigations haven't progressed exactly as I hoped. Perhaps this written record of what I found will prove to be my final duty as a STARS officer. I can only hope that it helps lead to the truth. STARS. The T-virus! Those affected by the virus seem to become literal zombies. It appears we're not using the Z word. It appears to be communicable via several different avenues outlined below. Bite from an infected individual, allowing the mixing of bodily fluids. Contact with crows, which have eaten infected carrion. Due to the strength of the virus, airborne infection cannot be discounted. It is a sleepy day. It's a good day to be sleepy, though.
Yeah. I ate too much chicken and I was very sleepy.
Chicken coma. Should be noted that those who survived the incident have not yet developed symptoms. It's unclear whether this is because the virus has a long incubation period, or because we just happen to be resistant to the infection. We ought to remain vigilant even after this investigation period ends. As for me, aside from my minor difficulty sleeping, I seem to be in fine shape. Still, I shouldn't get too hopeful. After all, this could just be an extended incubation. Oh, Jill. Who this? Who this man? Umbrella?
Nice.
I mean, it does say that it is Umbrella right there.
In the first game, like, full of Umbrella shit, I thought she knew at this point that Umbrella was bad, like, 100%.
I think so?
And Wesker, like, straight up, like, I don't know if he tells you, but, like, very obviously works for Umbrella, right? Yeah.
Yes? Yes.
He probably just says. Yeah.
Maybe Jill's really forgetful. Listen, it was an eventful evening. Lots of things happened. Maybe she forgot. I don't know. Sounds like we also need to just replay the first Resident Evil. Oh no, oops, all Resident Evil.
I would love that. Either version. It's just
yeah, it's good. They're good games. Umbrella! It's a pharmaceuticals company, industry leader in market share. Focuses on military weapons development while maintaining cover as a pharmaceutical company. Also secretly developing bioweapons. Okay. T-virus outbreak at Arklay Mountains Research Facility predicted the mansion incident. Conspiring with Raccoon City leadership, large donations to Mayor Warren's office effectively controls the city.
Umbrella kind of has, it does everything in this. It like has secret branches in like every field. Everything links back to Umbrella. As I'm sure this conspiracy wall shows.
I don't know what this conspiracy wall shows really.
Yeah, it makes sense to Jill.
Well, as long as she understands it. This is from a colleague.
Flowers, we don't talk about the Resident Evil movies. Good grief.
There's something. Hey Hotshot, how you holding up? I swear to God, if this isn't a note from Chris, I'm gonna scream. I still can't believe Iron suspended you. Such bullshit. You ought to pin a medal on you for making it out of that hellhole back in July. Of course, you're going to poke around and ask questions about it. Hope you're not mad at me for keeping my head down. Everything's been happening so fast. STARS was the pride of the force. When the chief disbanded us out of nowhere, I thought for sure I was gonna lose my job. Oh, it's Brad. Ew. Why? Word has it you're planning to leave Raccoon City. Figured you wouldn't take the suspension lying down. Just promise to watch your back. Umbrella won't sit by while you try to dismantle their business. Take care, Jill. Brad Vickers, STARS Alpha Team, now and forever. P.S. Had to slip this message to the pizza guy to avoid detection. Enjoy the extra large Mega Meat Supreme. It's on me and the guys. That doesn't look like a Mega Meat. That looks like it has weird scabs on it and snakes? Little green snakes?
How long has this been on the table, Jill? Little green snakes have gone to it. Okay, now we can say, dang, you live like this.
You live like this? Listen, I get having a couple of days where you're just like, I don't want to worry about it. This looks like it's been here for longer than that.
Someone needs to clean this up.
Girl. Flaky bakery bread! My favorite.
Nice.
I gotta turn this water off. Our water bill's gonna be ridiculous. Green pepper.
You fast and not melt. Hey!
Yeah. There she is! Your face is on. It's okay.
Yeah, everything attached. Oh.
Who could that be?
Just got donuts out in the open.
Excuse me, raccoon milk.
Oh no!
Two 6-packs of beer and some raccoon milk, please.
Oh no! I'm
in a pie.
gonna assume that it's a brand, like it's Raccoon Brands, but
Yeah, but still.
Also, I want to read that, but this phone has to stop. Also, is the sound in-game okay for y'all? It now looks too quiet, but
Hello?
Jill,
what do I know?
are you okay?
Brad, is that you?
Listen, you gotta get out of there.
What are
Hi,
you talking about?
stars.
I don't have time to explain.
Long
You gotta
time no
get out of
talk.
there right now.
Yes.
Let me grab my...
Oh, that was quick.
Didn't even get to finish his sentence. Hey, Jill, I don't think that's working.
Uncle Nemesis.
What the hell is that thing?
It's Uncle
well,
Nemesis.
It's
Sorry.
Uncle Nemesis. This isn't what I wanted. That's not... Okay, well, I can't read the thing that I wanted to read. That's unfortunate.
Also, that was Jill's Kendo custom 9mm, aka Samurai Edge. It's still as useless as it was in Resident Evil 1, possibly also.
Oh!
Great job, Joe Kento. It doesn't work.
No way.
Okay, well... We gotta go, I think. Ah! Sorry. Buildings coming down around us. This is ridiculous.
You wiggle.
Tent.
You do got tense.
His poor tent.
That
Jill,
was an
please.
extreme zoom in on the bot as she was running
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Wear that hard hat. Cataclysm struts. Take the hard hat and then keep running.
Gotta protect our noggin.
Exactly.
Jesus fuck! Say the thing. Nemesis, say the thing. We're down here now.
Whoa.
What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? He said the thing!
Oh, he's mad. He's honking.
Alright, that's a heck of a way to start a video game.
Yeah.
But also he said the thing. He went, STARS! Jill, do you wanna... Oh, okay, you...
Oh, she's got tummy ache.
Maybe we don't go that way. Not that there's anything over here. Okay.
Do love to see Nemesis. It's
Jill?
just
Over here!
iconic lad. What a boy.
Hi, Brad.
It's
Loser.
Brad, everyone's friend Brad.
If I know. Right now, it's got a hard on for the only 2 stars left in town. You and me.
Sir?
I'm not sticking around. Just look around you. The longer we wait, the more screwed we are.
Well, then let's leave. It's time to go. Somebody get something for her Tom Tom.
I don't know. One fucked up thing always leads to another. It's like
We've
our
got
steroids.
what movies do we have going on? We've got
How would
Disaster.
you know what How would you know what the Eckler mansion was like, Brad?
You
You were in a fucking helicopter the whole time.
All right. Got Mars Carlisle's Off Duty, Bad Luck Game, and Air Combat 1942.
We've gotta be dreaming. How could this many people be infected?
Zombies.
Here they come!
Brad, you're an idiot.
Also, tell Sweet Pea that it's fine and everything is okay. Brad, help! You have to do more than just wiggle your arms. You have to do more than throw a signboard at a man. Brad, you fucking idiot!
Oh my god.
This is why you're D rank.
Can't leave him alone for 5 seconds. He just gets bit by zombies.
We're gonna make a run for it!
Did we put him in D or was he
We know how
B?
this ends.
Fuck, I don't
I
remember.
think he was D. It was
Okay.
DLC. It wasn't B.
Always!
Then do me a favor. Don't fuck up like I did. Go!
Oh, well, bye, Brad.
Not Brad. I remembered Brad getting got by Nemesis, and I just don't think there's any timeline where that happens. Actually, he's stuck so much he gets got by zombies no matter what you do.
We just wanted to rewrite it so he seemed cooler.
I mean, yeah, not shaming going out from Nemesis.
Oh, alright, well, it's time to go.
That's a good way to tell you that, hey, you just need to be running.
Well, they also told me how to shoot my gun.
Yeah. I like it, telling you, like, hey, you can shoot your gun, and then also, you don't have any bullets, you need to go. So it's an elegant way of telling you both things back to back.
You can fight. You can also run.
Brad's not disliked, he's just barely present. He's just barely a character.
Yeah, there's
Just
not
a
enough
guy.
there to, like, hate him. He is just there for 2 seconds. I don't think that's true, sir, but okay. Can I open this?
Sir, what's your name? I can't just leave you behind.
It's Dario Rosso. And yeah, right. You just want to steal my safe house. Get your own, Missy.
See?
Alright, I hope that man dies. Hey! Handgun ammo! Oh!
Oh, we have, like, OG inventory.
Oh!
If you want a gun and bullets, that's 2 of your 8 slots.
Yeah. Alright, you know what? That's not...
Consider yourself lucky. Chris only had 6.
It's because women have natural pockets, obviously.
It's meant to be, because Chris is a big old war goofus, so he gets a little bit more health. And Jill is, like, smart and methodical, so she gets more inventory space, because she already has the right gadget loaded up, ready to go.
Jill, it's fine. Jill, it's fine. Jill, it's fine.
Also, I quite like it as, like, a difference between the
Oh!
like...
Sorry.
Oh, that's a head pop.
That was very good! Okay, I'm not gonna waste my bullets on the crawling man. He's slow.
I quite like how Resident Evil does the difference between the characters, like the original Resident Evil, because one, it kind of like makes sense as to what the character's meant to be, even though there's very limited characterization for both of them. and 2, Jill is not like just weaker than Chris, but also is actually much stronger. Having more inventory slots is way better than having a little bit more health.
Right? Sorry, I
At
don't
that
know
time,
that-
it was the girl normally just couldn't do the things because she girl.
Jill was rad as fuck, though!
Jill is.
Still
Jill's cool.
is! I love Jill. Well, there goes that ride.
Heck.
Since we're big thinking about Resident Evil, I'd be down to replay some of the originals as well.
We could. Hey, I'm down for any amount of Resident Evil. I'm on a Resident Evil thing right now.
Yeah. Good games.
It's my turn, bitch.
It's a really fun series and just like a lot of nostalgia there, a lot of memories.
Yeah. Also, is this what most of this is gonna be? Is just quick time events? Oh.
That would be disappointing, but at least we get to see a lot of Nemesis.
Yeah. I am going into this with, like, lower expectations than any of the other Resident Evils, just because I've heard a lot of people didn't like this one. I'm sure it'll still be fun. Here's the thing. I think it takes a lot to really fuck up a Resident Evil game to make it not fun. Even if it is silly and stupid.
They kind of rushed this one out a bit after 2.
Yeah.
But there's not as much to work with Resident Evil 3. It was never as good as 2. But like Nemesis is the whole draw. Nemesis is why we're here. If Nemesis is good, the game's probably good. Oh hey,
Carlos!
nice.
Why do you have that? Why is that a thing you're carrying?
Who are you? What are you doing?
Name's Carlos, and I'm saving you. Come on, let's get you someplace safe.
Jill does need to sit there. She's had a
Yeah.
rough morning.
She woke up and everything's already bad for
I think we're in the
her.
clear.
Hope so.
We've been bringing survivors here.
Here
See, his
where?
hair is just rendered
The
funny.
guys have converted some subway cars into a
Kinda
shelter.
still like it. Big.
Okay.
It's safe.
You and your big hair.
I'm kind of into just people with a lot of hair. Kind of my type. Hell squid!
Squid! Tyrant of the deep! They weren't extinct, only sleeping. The Hell
You have a
Squid's
Hell Squid,
origins revealed. I love Hell Squid. I
Love
love
you,
Hell Squid. We're just gonna screenshot that.
Nothing. I've never seen anything like it. But it's no zombie. It knows what it wants and won't stop till it gets it.
I mean,
Would you like
still
that,
could be a
Amanda?
zombie.
No thanks.
I mean,
He's on
Jill
yours.
could probably tell him that that's
Listen,
like clearly a
promise
G
you
mutant,
everything.
right?
I'm with the Umbrella
Yeah.
Biohazard Countermeasure Service. You'd be
Or is
safe
it
for sure.
like are we just trying to leave it ambiguous who fought Tyrant on the roof?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Probably leaving
What
it
are you talking
ambiguous.
Could have been anyone. I don't know nothing about this.
Hmm.
I hit my head possibly during the fight with Tyrant on the roof.
Right. Listen, she's been throwing around a whole bunch of dino bites. Lobster. Jim's crabs. Sir,
Oh,
crab
no.
is not lobster? Well,
Lobster is crap. Look at those clamps. Got the clamps.
discussion between Dr. Light and Dr. Willy.
Oh no.
That's an
That's a
Einstein.
Mega Man. That's a Mega Man. That's Dr. Wowie from Mega Man.
Let's see.
He's the bad doctor.
Hold on. I gotta...
That is
For-
very horrible.
For clown purposes. Don't worry about it. It's clown purposes. Skull Stalker of the Red Planet! He will find his target. Skull Stalker. Adrift in space.
We'll still find his target.
Right? Calm comic books. Okay, sorry.
Hell Squid again.
We love Hell Squid here.
I kind of love all the posters.
This fine young lady.
They're
needs
very
our help.
good.
Oh, it's the woman.
Yeah.
Carlos, you didn't even think to ask fine young lady. her name.
I
She
said
is an elite operative
dodgy
of
Russian accent.
RPD, Special Tactics and Rescue Service. Her name is something Valentine.
It's Jill.
Nice to meet you, Jill.
I don't think it is.
UBCS platoon leader Mikhail Victor. My team was sent here to rescue civilians.
And it looks like you fucked up.
How's that going for you?
The city is completely cut off, isolated. Most of the 100,000 civilians will wind up dead. Correction, undead. My platoon has
Do
suffered
have that
serious
umbrella pin in his hat,
losses.
Jill.
Just keep me alive more than I can manage.
And he's got it on his shoulder, like, how have you not noticed? I mean, she has to have, right? She's just
Yeah.
keeping it to
We are
herself.
doing all we can.
Yeah.
If we can get this subway
She's a
train
smart
moving,
lady. She's not gonna
we can evacuate
immediately
some
call them out for
survivors.
this.
But
That
we
puts her
need
in
help.
danger.
My men cannot do this alone.
All right. I'm in. But I am on their side, not yours.
Oh, hey. It's cool. We all want the same thing.
Carlos, you fucking idiot.
All right, super
You
cop.
dense. Are they gonna play Carlos up like a himbo? Because, like, I'd be cool
Seems
with
like the
that.
Yeah.
First things first. We need to get you geared up.
He seems nice
Head
now.
up to street level. You'll find
Yeah, I
the
don't,
guys there.
like, immediately hate him.
All right.
Yeah. And he has big hair.
And he has big hair.
So many pouches.
I bet he can fit
Sorry.
so many snacks in there.
He's got so many snacks.
He does. He does have Keanu Reeves' hair from Bill and Ted. Yeah, spray him with the first aid spray.
That's what it's right.
You should be totally fine now, my guy.
Yeah, you're on full health, guys. Stop looking so beat up.
They were saying things, and then I got distracted at the idea of himbo Carlos. Here, we go here.
Excellent. UBCS
Ammunition Crafting Guide. On the battlefield, if you run out of ammo, your gun's about as useful as a wet fart.
Gross.
Okay. Want to stay alive out there? Then get these basic formulas into your skull. Handgun ammo is gunpowder times 2! Shotgun shells, gunpowder plus high-grade gunpowder. Mag ammo, high-grade gunpowder times 2. Once you're stocked up, get out there and join the party. Let's give these undead motherfuckers something to eat. Just make sure you don't become dessert. But look at her. She's such a snack.
You too low, Jill.
Love Jill so much. Jill is so good.
Cool lady.
Yeah. She's smart.
Also, she's
and
the
sassy.
master of unlocking.
Yeah, she is. She's so cool. Tabloid front page. The Cannibal Murders. A complete digest. Is you? So funny. That's so funny.
Oh, yeah. I get
In the gray of the morning on September 25th, a frantic caller telephoned the RPD to report an assault. A man described as disheveled, like a vagrant, was attacking a passerby north of the Lambs Museum of Art. The responding officers discovered the mutilated corpse of a woman by some dumpsters nearby. Dozens of bite marks covered her body, and she had been dismembered, suggesting she had been eaten. The third known incident of its kind to occur in Raccoon City this month. So who done it? Who's been munching on man steak? Why would you write that?
So a
Who is-
woman has been eaten.
Who's been
Please.
munching on man steak? We here at News
Unbelievable.
Comment have a gnawing feeling that the so-called cannibal disease patients Spencer Memorial has been providing free treatment for since August might not be settling for just the cafeteria food. Our reports have infiltrated Spencer Memorial. Ask the tough questions and come back with the horror stories that will make your stomach roil. Turn the page for the scoop. I don't think I will, actually!
I think we need to read more.
Who's been munching on man steak?
It's me again. You topside yet?
Working on it.
They're asking the
what's our
tough
plan?
The old
questions.
tanks got me clearing the tracks. You might get in the subway infrastructure back online.
And how do I do that?
Let's start by restoring power. I'll navigate you to the substation once
Herbs?
you get the main road.
Copy
Ooh.
that. Let's do this fast.
Good find.
We'll just take this whole dang plant. Shove that in our pocket. Oof, this is gonna be rough. Okay. Yeah, I understand. And then
Two hub.
that's some good shit. It's the good weed. It's the
Fucking
good
green herbs over
kush.
here.
This is the dollar store. How good can it be? Do I have a melee that I can do? Just a stomp. Just a little stomp. I can. Okay.
Yeah, you get
okay.
a weird little dodge in the original, and it's
Yeah,
kind of hard to use.
I forgot about it because it's very hard to use. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have combined all those green herbs right away.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
We'll get more green herbs.
Health. Knife done.
Oh, we do have a knife. That's
Files.
probably how he unboxes.
Yeah. 1-4? Okay. I
Or we put it in the
understand.
box and forget it exists. One or the other.
We'll see how useful it ends up getting. Listen, I know all this. I know all this stuff. There's no place in the CS for pipsqueaks. You crawl back to base every single time they get scratched up. You want somebody to kiss your boo-boo? Go someplace else. Ugh, gross. Here in the big leagues, we mix our
Horrible
own meds. So get those recipes memorized. High potency, maximum potency, and first aid spray. That should do it. Now let's get this done, and then go grab a beer. What cool macho men these guys are. Bucks. I don't want to put anything away just yet, but bucks.
If it's the same as the other ones, green herb heals about a third of your health. If you mix 2 green herbs, they'll heal 2/3 of your health and only take up 1 inventory slot. And then a green and red herb. Red herb does nothing on its own, but you mix it with a green, that's a full health.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you gotta use
It
3
almost
greens.
looks like I could get this working if I plug in the right whatever it is.
Good stuff. Where are you going, Jill? I was trying to look in that corner.
Jill.
More survivors.
Who's
Gotta get that
toy
shit moving.
uncle? Game, I've already figured out the quick step. Here's the thing.
They do seem less hardy than in 2 Remake from what I've seen. Which is probably good, because there's probably gonna be a lot more of them.
Yeah. Well, and it's also... I see you over there. I'm not gonna waste a bullet on you, but I see you just staring at the sky. Me when I get too into playing a video game.
I smoked too many green herbs.
It's
It's not actually a zombie.
Beautiful. Yeah, I imagine that they're not necessarily going to be tougher, but there just might be more of them. Oh, hi! Hello! Well,
Heck.
I thought it filling up was for me, and it was saying I was doing a good job. But no, if it fills up, that's bad. Understood. It is going to take a lot to unlearn everything that I have just done in 4.
Yeah.
Why you don't give me things?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, we have to watch out for that. Zombies, I remember. I had to keep down.
We're fine.
We're still fine.
Holy shit. Wait, listen, Jill, where are your lockpicking tools? You're not the master of unlocking for nothing. Oh, excuse me?
She never has a fucking lockpick, even though she's the master of unlocking. Unbelievable.
Right? Simple lock. Okay, we've got the usual. If it's red, you've still got stuff there. If it's blue,
Yeah.
you've cleared it. It's just weird that control pulls up my map.
All the buttons are like shuffled as a joke, I guess, on this one.
Donut! Moon's donuts!
Nice.
I love donuts.
Don't trust him. Okay, I think he's on the level. Oh, it's one of those games where you're not allowed to stab him before the rope, which is horrible.
Nope. Wall's too strong. That chain link fence. Impenetrable.
Carlos, I've reached the main avenue. Which way do I go?
Big transmission tower?
So maybe you should break through the gaps.
You'll have to circle around through
No,
an alley to your right.
those aren't actually there.
On fire?
Maybe. Surely a tall drink of water like yourself can put out.
Oh my god.
Gross.
Fuck you.
Thank you, Jill.
That is the
You know
correct
what?
response to that.
Yeah, if Carlos is gonna be gross, as long as Jill is like just as sassy at him about it. Can I? No. I'll take it. I'll be fine with that. Jill, don't put up with that shit.
Yeah. I figured that would come in.
Yeah.
The road to the donut stall looks too important.
But this is fine because... No. Back up. Because we got that.
Yeah.
Oh!
It's fine.
It sounded like there
Fence is
was
still,
one.
It's still going for now. Yeah, it did.
It sounded like it
There was one right behind
me.
you. There was just a fence there. Moon donuts. Not Jim's Crabs. Don't go to Jim's Crabs.
Don't go to Jim's Crabs. Okay, well, they're over there and I'm over here, so, you know... What's up here? That
Horrible.
is terrifying.
Yeah, that's scarier than the zombies.
Honestly. I hear you over there.
He's having a snack.
That's just gunpowder? Is that all I got from this?
I think
This
I've
is
got
horrible.
gunpowder.
Okay. Open. Ooh. Okay. This game?
Okay.
Game?
We can work with this. If we take the green herb, we can mix it with the red. Oh, I thought there were one on the floor. Sorry,
Was there?
I thought there were, but I don't know. I thought they were in the corner. No, it's just leaves clipping through the roof.
It's just leaves, don't worry.
That's fine.
Jim's Crabs.
Horrible.
Why would you name it that?
Because you're horrible. And you think lobsters is crabs.
I think the man's dead.
It did go. Whoa.
Sorry.
You went, oh! Because you saw Sam.
It was just the treasure, and then I don't have the combination. I was very upset about
True.
that. August 24th. This new hair tonic from Umbrella is just flying off the shelves. The stuff they make always works wonders, so it's no surprise. Counting on this and ordered a huge shipment. My instincts are paying off. Literally. I just know sales will continue to rise as word gets out. That said, the string of violent incidents on the news has me worried. Maybe I ought to invest in a good safe to hold all this cash that's rolling in. September 2nd. The new safe is just perfect. Nobody knows the code! Not even my wife. It's a secret between me and my beautiful Aquacure Queen! She'd never give it up for a thief. Well, she's about
Nice.
to.
Nice of him writing palm parts in green so we know.
Right? That gives... I have no time to respond to that.
Okay. Knife is kinda ass, actually.
Yep. We have learned. Knife is going... Well, I can't put knife away because I want it to open up boxes. Ugh.
See how many bullets we get. Knife might have to go.
Very upset about this. Not that I was, like, planning on using it as, like, a main weapon or anything, but, like, you know...
Yeah. Save some bullets.
Did he just get back up?
I think he did.
But he's coming through.
It's not even, like, good for saving bullets because you never know when they're gonna, like, grab you from the ground.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, we're going this way now. Stop!
Awful.
I don't even get the... I didn't even get the prompt, and I was so ready for it! You're rude!
Bye. Oh, he's coming back.
Sir, where are you going?
He fall down. He take nap right here.
Can I make his head explode and then he won't get up? Is that possible?
Can you just stare that guy?
Grab
Can you
it.
just T-pose on the ground in peace?
Forever, please. Great. That goes up there now.
To Hob.
Horb? Sir,
Horb.
what do you mean she wouldn't tell anyone?
Ah!
937.
9 to the left, 3 to the right, 7 to the left.
937.
I'm gonna type it in chat.
937. 937. Better fucking down. What's there though?
Is the save optional or is it required? That's the
Optional?
question.
I mean, it has to be optional, right?
Yeah, probably.
Where am I?
Subway? Oh wait, we're in Subway office? Oh, that's where we need to go.
Yeah.
So we gotta turn the power
let's
back on.
Go away. Bless
A little bit of a sneeze.
you. It's not that it was picked up a lot. All I heard was choo.
I was very quiet, but then I said chew. They're all aware.
What? Fuck off!
Sir!
Literally no time to respond.
Yeah, they were just camping the other side of the door. They were horrible.
9, 3. Hey.
Oh,
Can I?
probably want to put that on. Hey.
Okay. I mean, I won't say no, but okay.
Resident Evil 3, you keep getting little bits to put on your guns, but you only get them for beating Nemesis, I think, in the optional fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, that's a good red dot sight. Oh.
Yeah, it is.
It's not as good as Leon's though. It doesn't like
No.
tell you exactly where it's going forever.
Oh,
Can we get a donut dead quick? Just
Oh.
a moon donut?
I love donuts. Give donut. Ooh.
We love the moon! Also.
Listen,
Just
I have a
making
lot
sure.
of... Yeah. High grade gunpowder and regular gunpowder gives me shotgun shells, right?
Yeah. That's what I said.
We want to start stocking up on shotgun shells?
I'm not sure. Maybe. Makes more sense than... Because there's no space.
Yeah. Well, and, like, we're good on handgun for now.
We should be for now.
Put that there.
We intend to get a shotgun.
Yes. Yes,
Oof.
please. Sounds like somebody's out there. Nope. Wanted to crouch under that, but nope. Jill, please. What's this? A fancy box?
Oh,
Well,
heck.
it's fine, because we have this here.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works.
We can store that, and I am gonna store... We'll combine those for right now. And we'll put these away.
Yeah. Could start like the gunpowder or one of the healths. I
feel fine doing this. What?
can't make decisions like this on the original Resident Evils. Like, how many times do I think I'm gonna get hit on the way?
Okay, we have an imitation ruby. I was trying to like look at that and move it around, but it
Game
said
said
actually
no.
yeah, it said you're backing out of the menu now, right? It's like okay, I guess. Oh, I
Jill was
wonder if
very
this
curious. She wanted to
I
open
wouldn't-
the thing.
that probably goes in that like clock thing we saw earlier.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we'll put that
makes
away
sense.
for now. I wanna. Wait. Oh, I thought the description was describing
did
the
as
lock.
well.
And so I was like, what do you mean that this lock is a gun?
What do you mean this padlock is used by military forces worldwide?
Right? What's over here, actually? Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. Ah! Ah! That prompt is a lie. It's not real. It doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the prompt. It doesn't seem like there's a way out of that. Oh.
Fuck. Shit.
Those barrels
as-
are good though.
Yeah, they are. Not as many as I would have liked, but it works,
Whatever gets us through.
right? Oh, hi, it's you. Okay, the red dot, very good, actually. Very helpful when I have to wiggle around.
Yeah.
Hey, this give. Just put that in our pocket.
Takes up the same space as a hub.
Subway employees memo. Violence getting worse and worse these past few days. Got a shotgun for when it hits a breaking point. Locking it up in the gun rack. That should keep it safe from any would-be looters while I go out and try and find some more shells. Things go south, cut the chain and bust out that sucker. I pray we all make it out alive. Pray. Okay, so that's what's. Oh, wait, no, it's here.
There's a shotgun.
Yeah. Oh, I understand how puzzles
Can we
work.
use the hose to cut the chain somehow? We can spray some water on the chain and wait for it to rust.
Ooh!
Big.
Also, the game is automatically closing the menu that quickly, just
Yeah.
in case anyone was wondering. I'm not zooming through it.
It did seem like zooming was going on.
Hello?
This must be the subway company's offices.
Oh no. I want a lockpick so bad. This is so rude.
We're the master of unlocking and we don't have a lockpick.
Ugh. Ensuring safe subway operations. In the event of a power outage, the subway will automatically cease operations. Once power has been restored, please use the control panel to confirm the stations at which the train will stop, as well as which track segments will be used. If the route entered is unsafe, an error will occur and operations will not resume.
Nothing.
Well, I was trying to look at this. Is the thing. So top
Maybe you'd
track
be able
bad.
to see something if you took the bit of paper off the monitor.
Down. Down. Down.
Oh yeah, there's
All,
just a way through there.
oops, all down.
Donut. Mr. Everywhere?
Actually, it's a Charlie?
No.
How do I get over there? Jill.
Jill, do you
Man.
want to move these cardboard boxes or this chair?
This chair. Wanna
I just
climb
roll
over
that out of the way.
Do I need to restore power first. Ooh.
That guy's
we
just
go.
not staying down.
No.
Rude.
Okay.
If I were
Let's-
electric, where would I be?
Right. Hi, Akos. Subway control room is where we just were.
Yeah, cuss.
You wanna go this way?
Makes sense.
Yeah, but there's zombies over there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places where there's not zombies.
God, that's loud.
Oh,
Like
totally
it.
see it. It's handy. Oh, that one under the car didn't look dead.
Yeah, I, like, acknowledged it for a second. Please. Ma'am.
Lady.
Fuck! Jill. Jill. Just want the thing that's here.
Maybe you just take less damage if you do the prompts and it still plays the same animation? I'm confused by the prompts.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd let it get to orange caution.
Yeah.
You can if you want. It'll make you feel
No. I always forget, like, I always forget which colors I'm supposed to look out for and, like, when it gets real bad. Also, I
Oh,
remember
oh.
where we're supposed to go. It's
the
not
last
here.
one's danger and you want to heal if
Yeah.
you see danger.
Ah!
Oh, good. Hey.
Listen! All right.
Oh, we put the knife away. 'Cause
'Cause
stupid.
it's bad.
Bad knife.
Wait, I've already been in there. Where was that? There was the alley we were supposed to go through, but it was on fire.
Oh, yeah. Is it that one? No, that was the raised walkway, right?
I think so. Maybe it's no. Here
Right
it
there.
is.
Okay.
So I need to.
Oh, we have a hose now. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Back through the donut shop?
Donut shop, and then hang a left, and then hang a right.
We've been bit by zombies a lot, but other than that, we're good.
We're totally fine. Yeah, sorry, Akos, I got distracted by Zams. Yeah, doing good. How are
I'm
you,
so
friend?
sorry, I don't know how long that was up before anyone replied.
It's not that we don't care, I'm just easily distracted. Oh, I hear something. It's
They
fine.
seem to stay down if we blow them up, and that's nice of them.
Yeah! Alright. Attach the hose. Get that out of my inventory. I like that she just casually carried that around with her.
Yeah. They only took up one slot.
Well, she did fold it up very nicely. You are
She's got all those
existing.
pouches.
Yeah. Sometimes existing is enough.
Hose pouches.
I just want to hold it. Okay, let's take out. Combine. I'm gonna take it.
Better behave this time, knife. Are you going back
Okay.
in the box?
Switch that, please. I'm gonna put that down there so I don't accidentally use it. I don't
Oh,
think
that's
I
fine.
will, but I'd rather it just be slightly separate from everything else.
That's sensible.
It's not gonna be as nice an inventory.
Is someone in here?
Well, do you want to find out? Because I don't.
It's just a dang zombie. I'm gonna be mad as heck.
Here, UBCS?
Yeah, careful, careful.
Who's this nerd?
Come on, don't look at me like that, alright? I'm not
Great,
infected.
let's take care
No,
of
no, 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 wait, please!
Oh!
What the fuck?
He was infected.
He might have been infected.
It was infected.
Stars this no wonder so many of you dead.
And what are you, UBCS? Killing your own people?
He would have turned. There's
It's
your sense of self-preservation.
Off-brand Johnny Lee Miller.
Go back to the subway station. We don't need a bleeding heart like you getting in the way.
Okay, sir. Can I shoot him?
Keep out of
No.
you piece of shit.
What gave it away? The slicked back hair and the white bathing suit. The training log. 202 pounds, 12 laps of the yard, 2 circuits. Suck it, prison. The Umbrella Corporation just recruited me for a job. A job! Don't know how they're gonna wipe out a life sentence for murdering 20 gangbangers, but whatever. I'll take it. Beat shitting away the rest of my days behind bars. Gotta get back into shape. Caught the chain yesterday and got moved to a UBCS training camp where I fired my first bullet in 2 whole years. Missed a stationary target by 5 inches at 400 yards. Never fucking do that. It's like I forgot everything. Doesn't matter. I'll get sharp again. Watch me. Okay, got my shot grouping down to 3 inches. Feeling good. Feeling good. After lunch, they put me through my first mock battle. Cap and the other guys are good people and goddamn beasts of war at that, but what the fuck is up with that lunatic Nikolai? He used me as a fucking human shield just to score some extra points. Murphy's back, baby! You'll never see me miss another target. Tomorrow I go on my first mission, riot control in Raccoon City. Big Jimmy would have liked that. My brother was always the first to reach out and help people, right up until those street punks took him away from me. Now it's my turn to do some good for a change. The way I know best. Get shot in the fucking head. Wow, bud. We are gonna go back.
There, Murphy.
Right? He tried. We're gonna go back because I'm gonna store that for now. We want to get that shotgun.
We gotta get the shotgun.
It's shotgun time.
We could probably just hit the padlocks with the fucking polkas.
Right.
I know that we can't.
Padlocked door. And it is at the.
We're gonna get a lockpick for simple locks. It's
the
in
subway
the
controls.
subway is the shotgun, and then we probably
Yeah.
go through the chain door. Wonder if the Nem says in Resident Evil 2 remake the shotgun doesn't you can't just decapitate them with the shotgun to make sure they don't get back up. Wonder if you can
Yeah.
in this.
I mean, we can do some shotgun science. He
Maybe
says.
more sensible to save it for Nemesis.
No. No. Because we're here.
Yeah, makes sense.
And
And I can put the bulkers that way, possibly, maybe.
Yeah. Here's hoping.
Oh my god, there's 8 spots.
There's a man here.
That fucking guy.
He will not give up. Is it? Wait. No.
That other room.
Yeah. Just got
Better not be
excited that
back
I.
up.
Nope. Nope. He's still down for now. Open up.
We've realised at this point that he shrugs off bullets as if they were kisses from a loved one. But, they could just stay down for a minute.
Right?
Big shotgun. Just hit it really hard with that kill.
Where is your gun pointing? Jill? That is not where your gun is pointing.
How is the laser dot getting on that?
No, I didn't think
Awful.
so, but...
Got a lockpick. Probably.
Control panel... We can't really do anything with that just yet because we haven't activated the power.
Yeah, I think we've just got one way to go right now.
Yeah. Jesus fuck. Hey, cab! Get down. Sir, you're missing an arm. He will not be getting back up.
Yeah, that one will stay down.
Perfect. You love to see it. I do want to know what's over here, though. It's not where we're supposed to go. Therefore, see you there.
Was it not? I thought this was where we were meant to go.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay. You need to absolutely get down and get out of the way.
Heck.
Shit. Well,
Yeah,
I was
that guy
gonna...
took 6. Horrible.
That's what I was...
Danger.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to go for.
Yeah, I saw the plan. It's just that guy decided to never die.
Pick that up, please. Idiot. Please stop wiggling!
That'll do.
Ugh. I don't have an issue running past any of them. It's just sometimes I can't very easily run past them. Ooh, handgun bullets. Is that everything that's here? It is! What's out here? Zombies. Zombies are out there.
No, that's not the roof. Not sure what that is.
That's in front of the donut shop.
Yeah, there's more guys.
There's lots of zombies there. There was like that like electric panel or something, and I don't know if I can shoot that and kill everything.
Could try it.
Good.
For science.
Science. We are doing pretty okay on bullets, like...
Yeah, fine on pistol. And decent
Yeah.
on shotgun now.
Mm-hmm. And I don't plan on doing like a whole bunch of fighting, generally speaking. If there are a bunch of zombies grouped up and there's a...
Yeah.
See you standing back up again. And there's a barrel, we'll definitely go for it. And I'll take out the straggler here or there. Donut shop, that's where I'm trying to go.
Made it
Sorry.
pretty clear that unless we need to get them out of the way to get past, it's not particularly effective to... Oh! Nice!
I don't know that that's...
Jill,
Or-
can you not leave? It wiggled them for a very long time.
Honestly.
And then they just keep going like nothing even happened.
Yeah. Is that everything that was here, though? Yep. Alright, back through we go. Bye! I do need to go that way, though, because we want to go...
If they're gonna be
here.
right in front of the door, we could go along the... Is it safer along the roof, or is it worse? Because there's that one guy who likes to go right behind the door.
Should be fine. He went
We
back
got a
into
lot of
his
space
place,
here.
though.
We can wiggle past them.
Just gotta serpentine a little bit. They'll never get me that way. Hi, we're back to playing video games where I will be checking my map every 10 seconds. So, have fun with that, y'all.
That is how you play Resident Evil. Like the more Resident Evil-y Resident Evils.
Mm-hmm. Just need to make sure I know where I'm going. I am just gonna store those for now.
That's fine. Probably
Um,
does keep them down, the grenades.
Yeah.
One might assume since the barrels do,
Yeah.
but yeah, we
I'm
don't.
also
We only got so
wondering-
much space.
I'm also wondering if this one does what the remake for 1 and 2 do, where they'll, like, mark any of your key items with, like, a little check mark to let you know that you're done with it.
That's really
Hope
nice
so.
when it does that.
Right? Otherwise, it's like, I'll just keep this shit in my inventory for forever. I am gonna put it away for now.
Otherwise, you kind of gotta keep everything around and like only bring it out when you know you need it. So like, it's a lot of running like along the whole map, getting bit 5 times by zombies to find a
Right.
door you can't open because you ain't got the weird key. So you run all the way back and get it, or you just load the game, which is what I eventually ended up doing. Like you do one test run to see where what all the doors need, and then you load the game back up. Do the real run.
Wait.
Not sure that's quite in the spirit of the thing though.
It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna keep our shotgun on us for now. Just because we just got it.
Probably due an nemesis fight.
Yeah.
We got a lot of bullets, and we did want to maybe potentially do a little shotgun science.
Yeah. But we're also coming across boxes very often, at least for right now, so I'm gonna assume that we're okay. Oh, tragic. To maybe just be a little more full than we might normally be. Suicide note. Middle East, Eastern Europe, East Africa. I thought I knew what hell was. Figured I'd never crack, no matter what was thrown at me. But this job? This one was supposed to be easy. A quick wage. I'd earned it. It all happened at once. There were 30 guys in our squad, all armed with state-of-the-art assault rifles. And yet, we were wiped out in less than 48 hours. I've been through enough shit to know it only ever gets worse. And if that was just the beginning, maybe I'm a coward. I don't care. This is the only way out I have left. Just hope my body doesn't get back up after I pull the trigger. Donuts! Hi, Stars.
Got the
Welcome
moon
back.
donuts.
Moon donuts. Yum. Yeah, welcome back. Merchant task? No, it's electrician notice. Public use generators provided by Raccoon City Electricians Guild. Oh, excuse me. Due to the ongoing power outages, the guild has decided to provisionally place a number of electric generators throughout the city. I have hiccups, sorry.
Oh no.
Everyone is welcome to use them, but remember, those generators are running high voltage currents. If one were to be struck or impacted by gunfire, anyone standing nearby could get electrocuted. Yeah, I've already, thanks.
Did you also put the explosive barrels there?
Right. You got that. If you see a generator spitting sparks, don't go near it. Don't do anything stupid. Safety first, as the saying goes. If we make it through this mess, I'll have plenty of busted generators for sale at bargain prices. Your neighborhood electrician, Sam. So we have Sam friend, Sam brother, Sam Hobbit,
Electrician.
and now
Yeah,
Sam
Sam
electrician.
Wise.
Fucking dogs.
Oh.
No!
Yeah, these are OG
Fuck!
Resident Evil dogs. They're fast as shit. It's horrible. Hey, double.
Ah! horrible, horrible dogs.
Yeah. They even look like the original Resident Evil 1 models a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
Like same breed of dog.
It's the Doberman.
Yeah.
What
Never
does
trust
that
the
mean?
Doberman. They're all zombies. Ah, that's just the meat station. It says meat station, normal meat
Classic.
mound.
Classic meat mound,
In
understood.
case someone's hungry, you can just go carve off a slice.
I'm scared is the thing. There were dogs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where am I going? Probably there. But it looks like there might be goodies out here.
Someone leave treasure in the car?
Herb. And that's all that was here. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna run and get my water. I'll be 1 second.
Do it! Hey, that's a good time to remind everyone to dink your oiter. I should probably get some oiter. I dinked.
Not been hydrating good.
But you gotta.
Well, I'm trying now.
I want to see him fall down the stairs. Also, shotgun science. You don't want to see a head potentially explode. Maybe look away now. It
Okay.
works.
Yeah. In the original Resident Evils, the zombies will get back up. I mean, they can potentially always get back up unless they got the random head pop from the pistol. But if you use a shotgun at close range, you can just blow the head off, and then they'll never come back. Just OG Resident Evil science.
Sorry, they were doing like a second death throw essentially when I came up and stabbed him in the head. So I wonder if they are now permanently dead.
Possible. Either that or it like resets the timer, but either way.
I mean, we'll be cautious no matter what.
Yeah.
Also.
Would be handy if you could just make sure. Double tap.
She's not responding anymore.
Yeah.
But it is nice to know that if we absolutely have to, we can shotgun a couple of heads. Combine, please. Also, not examine. God, this inventory handles so much more nicely than than 4's.
It didn't just randomly pick stuff up.
Yeah. Oh! More space! You love to see it.
Nice. Really handy.
Yeah. I'll put that down there for now. And maybe we'll keep that on us now.
Oh no.
Not that I should did or did. Hold on. Devo is sleeping in the cat bed that I have under the desk. But he's making these like these very cute little noises. He's like whistling, but it's like he's been making funny noises all day today. Facts from Substation Chief. To all employees, in response to the violent outbreaks across the city, we have implemented an intentional power outage. Once the situation has been brought under control, please activate the 4 breakers ASAP. Once that's done, turn on the main power switch in the control room to reactivate the power grid. Yeah, little baby snores. It's not often that he, like, falls into a deep enough sleep that he, like, makes the little noises or twitch or anything. That's more Farley's shtick. But he's been very comfy today. And he, like, I don't know what was going on earlier, but I thought he was, like, awake and yelling at something. So I, like, went to check it out, and he was just passed out on the floor and just making very funny noises. It's awful meat out.
Oh, it smells like... Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
Well, you have to, because we are here and we are smelling it. Probably smells like rotting flesh. If we're being honest. Green herbs, they work! It was starting to look like Chad was never going to come back from his round, so I poked my head in there and fuck me. Next thing I know, I've got some kind of maggot squirming down my throat. Excuse me?
That's not normal?
I was gagging and heaving, but those little bastards didn't seem to mind none. They just wouldn't come up. I was staggering around like a madman, and then I saw it. A green herb. My grandma once told me that green herbs are a natural bug deterrent. So I grabbed one, shoved it down my gob, and swallowed, and what do you know? The little things don't want to be in there anymore. I've never been so happy to throw up. I'm gonna head back out there to look for Chad. If anyone else sees this, remember, eat your greens. What the fuck is wrong with the people in Raccoon City? I have questions. And none of them are nice. I'm gonna go back up. Put these in the box. I don't need this many. Store. Great.
What if you get full of full of bugs?
Full of maggots? Well, I do have some
Yeah.
green herb on me.
Okay, that's fine.
I've got the green herb to shove down my gob. I don't need that many. Are you? No. Sir, you are dead. Or you're scripted to jump up at me after I grab your box. Ucky!
Oh, he's full of bugs.
Or he's full of bugs because he didn't eat his greens. Gross. About festering matter? About the term necrosis? Is that? Is it lockpick?
Master of unlocking.
There's me. Well, it's Jill, but I am Jill. Oh, the term for the monstering flesh? Monstrous flesh? Fuck. It was such a good description. It was such a good gender description. Monstering flesh, I think, was it. Yeah, please go. Thank you, Stars. Stars was reading us poems earlier, and they were very good, and there was one that it's like, you call me woman, but actually it's something about, like, I have monstering flesh, and I was just like, that's it. That's me. That described my meat mech. The key to the high voltage area has gone missing, and the earliest we'll be able to get a replacement in is next week. In the interim, a lockpick will be provided to the senior employee on duty. We only have one lockpick and cannot afford to lose it, so please keep it in its carrying case at all times when you're not using it. And please, could you all check just once more that you did not accidentally take the key home? If you happen to find it, please bring it to Kate in admin. Oh! That's a bugman.
Oh, jeez.
Monstering flesh paled like wisteria. Yes. Ah, gross!
Sir?
I don't know you like that! I have parasites!
just find an anti-parasite machine. Is there a green herb around? I don't want to use the big one.
Got some in
You
the
walk
box that's
very
up here.
slowly when you're full of bugs.
Yeah. Because we're full of bugs. I am at caution now.
Oh, it's draining your health slowly.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine, because green herb heals you a third anyway. Also, I'm kind of happy. Ugh. Ugh, I'm not happy about that.
Okay, well, noted.
Well, I know what that
Oh,
is
it's-
now. I am kind of happy that blue herbs are in the game anymore, because they're always really annoying.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. They want
I don't want to
me.
carry around the herbs for the. They only work for the specific enemies that poison me when there's only like 3.
Right?
Stupid.
No, I'm glad that they've changed that. I don't want to be here though, is the thing, I think.
We need to call Isaac.
Hey buddy, I got a new job for you.
Tell him to bring the line gun.
I saw that horrible bug. I don't like this.
This is spooky.
I'm like incredibly uncomfortable right now. Oh, I hate these sounds and I hear one behind me.
Yeah. Do we have a quick chant? Alright, it's fine,
Yeah.
we got mouse.
Ah!
Oh god, they're on the roof.
Okay.
Just that easy.
Fuck off!
Go away.
Well, that's not the
Sarah's
weapon I
getting
wanted.
The last set of bugs out.
I hate this. I have to watch Jill get tongued by bugs, and I have to vomit all the time.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Can I shoot that?
Can it just be like poison that just goes away if you use a green herb?
Right? Can I pick that up? No, it won't let me.
Jill, we need to talk about how this fence has holes in it. I wonder if there's finite of them or if they just keep spawning.
I don't know.
Seems like there's lots.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to like waste all my bullets, but at the same time, there's so many of them, and they are
Yeah, and
so
there's no room.
aggressive. Well, that got
He is
rid of one.
something. Yeah.
That's a dead end. It's bad here.
Always one behind you every time you do anything.
Well, he can remain behind me. That's fine. I just don't want him in my face. Fuck off.
You don't want to kiss the bugs.
No kiss. None kiss.
They do a lot of damage.
Yeah. Ah!
Oh. They say there's 1,000 of them.
Jesus. I definitely keep trying to go to like my hotkey for
Yeah.
knives from 4, and it's not working. I wonder why.
Jill's not a knife nerd like Leon. She doesn't have a dedicated knife button.
That's, I mean, probably for the best.
Yeah. The one thing about Leon that we need to change, we'll fix him. I was hoping it'd like electrify the place and get rid of the fucking bugs.
Yeah. Come here.
Did they just get in the path? Wait, tiny horrible bugs.
Sir, that is the way I need to go, I think?
There's so many.
Yeah.
What?
Hey, it's bad here, and I hate their sounds, and I don't want to be in there anymore.
Yeah, no more spider kisses.
There are still items in there, though.
I think those might just live in there.
But fruity items.
Consider the resources you'd use
Oh!
up. Oh. Can we go back and get the items now?
You fully demeated the place.
I'm not sure. I think there's still a lot of meat. I think there's still a high meat content. Nope. No, bug's still around.
Yeah.
Still having a good time in there.
I want the. I imagine it's all probably just like green herbs, which like would be lovely to have. But
Yeah, but we'll use the green herbs. An equal amount of
Yeah.
green herbs up, trying to pick them up.
Carlos, it's Jill. I've restored power to the subway.
Yeah.
Nice going. Next up is the traffic control system. It should be in the subway company's offices.
I know where that is.
Right. I think I know the building.
Really?
Jill, I just said
Way
that.
to go, partner. One step ahead.
Not your
Not.
partner.
That's what I was gonna say. Use, please.
Hey, she's still got it.
Yeah, she does. She's the master of unlocking. You don't just forget that kind of thing. Listen. Okay. Oh, this is. Now will you show me? Yes, perfect. We have a simple lock where we're going. Listen, I gotta hit up all the locked things on our way back! Ah!
Yeah, that's the boy.
Sorry, apparently this stream is just me screaming a whole bunch. Ha-ha! Oop.
I did the whoop.
Yup.
I never noticed when I was doing a whoop until I did it and then wrote a whoop on the screen.
Fuck.
And now I always notice. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
That happened
Okay.
quick.
Yeah.
That
But
was...
also the e-whoop sound is very good. But that was I got bit, and then I got pushed, and then I got bit again, and then Nemesis said, I'm actually standing on you, you can't do anything. It's like, oh, okay.
Are you shitting me?
It's not like necessarily too bad. Like Nemesis should be
Oh.
like super dangerous. It's just like just happened real quick. I don't think we could have even like used a healing item in that time.
Nope.
I don't think there was a time where you could bring the menu up since you started getting comboed.
Carlos!
Yup.
Still alive! It's after me!
Oh god.
Run! Come back to the station.
Not until I get traffic control on.
Please. I'm
Well, he must have
trying.
stopped chasing us because we couldn't open that door for 10 minutes.
Hey, first aid spray.
Nice.
Um,
First aid spray. It's full heal. Sometimes it lowers your score depending on which one you're playing. That doesn't matter. We're not going for a high score. We're gonna
We're
beat
just-
Nemesis.
just here to play a game. Okay. Save.
It's always handy to just get a full, like, full health. Not have to
Mhm.
build it.
We're going this way, right? We will come back this way on our way back to the subway station.
Makes sense. So we get one in the donut shop on the way, and
Yeah, I kind of want to try this though because it's right there.
that's fine.
If Nemesis isn't actively chasing us right now, we'll go here. If he is, we'll hit up the donut shop, get into the subway control, and then go from there.
Makes sense. Good plan.
Hey,
I
it's
do-
bad here.
I do actually
Okay.
like.
Whoa!
Oh. Gem
Alright.
scraps, Devers.
Ah!
Oh! Beady boy.
I don't like it when he goes zoom.
We have to pick this lock real quick, Jill.
It's very important that you do this very fast. Where do I go? This way. He's behind me. He's behind me.
Yeah, it's right on you.
Fuck! Well, that's fine. Thanks!
That was
Thanks!
very helpful, actually.
How am I? We're fine.
I think you dodged the punch they did?
I think so. I don't know how.
Carlos, I'm in the
I
control
don't
room.
either.
Now what?
Down, 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 down,
Now
down,
you
down.
gotta plot out a route.
Okay, give me a second. All right,
No, wait.
where are we headed?
The train is stopped at Redstone Street. We need to reach
Huh?
Foxtrot Station. Can you program that in?
Hey, I'm Super Cop. Consider it done.
Redstone. Oh! Okay, so we need to go Redstone.
FA to Area 3?
Yeah. And then SA2.
Ah, yeah.
Please enter our route.
Yeah. And FO1's already input.
Yeah. Oh. Is FA2?
I think it was 2.
Yeah. And then RA3. Oh, where are you going, Jill?
What did he say? Redstone Street to Fox Park.
RA3.
Oh, is it SM? No, SA. Okay. Ascent.
SA2.
What did he say? Redstone Street to Fox Park.
What did he say?
A2.
Valid route confirmed.
Carlos,
Hey!
I finished inputting
Nice.
the subway route.
Jill, you are amazing. Tough as nails, too. Hurry back to the station. We'll make sure the subway's ready to depart.
Great. Give me this.
I like the suitcases. They're cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's one in there. Is Nemesis right outside?
I hope not.
Nemesis, we're just gonna pick the simple lock, okay?
Alright, give me just a minute, buddy, okay?
Oh, nice.
I mean, I won't say no, but you're a little
Yeah, we're full now.
Here's the trouble. We're a little full. Oh, now you get up. Whoa!
Don Pedro? Didn't expect to see you here.
Right? Hey, sir, did you know you're in the wrong place? Wrong place, wrong game.
Well, that's new. They didn't used to do that. Nemesis puts shit on him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just the worst. Just the worst guy.
I want to go through the donut shop. I'd like to get there. Is he gone? I go this way. Ah! We'll just leave that wiggler over there.
That's fine.
Well,
What the hell was it doing to that?
he's wiggling them.
Yeah, they're getting
Where am
wiggled.
I supposed to go? Jill, you dodged too slow.
Zigged when she should have zagged.
We'll just do that,
Hey.
and we'll run. Excuse me. What are you doing?
Ah,
What are you doing,
raccoon
Jill? How could you betray me like this?
Can we block him with the big Mega Man?
Is that all that was in here? No. You're
We
a
know,
Charlie
we know.
doll!
We already shot 2.
Fuck.
Could eat the green herb. Could get punched.
I'm scared.
It's fine. There's no way you could get in the Toon Star. I don't know what these boxes are about. It's if it's always jewels, it makes sense. But like, I don't know how to get in the star. Hey, are you coming out soon?
No.
I just want to talk.
This is horrifying, though, like in its own right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Won't
okay.
fit in the little shop.
There's stuff out here, though.
Yeah, but there's also a
It's also a nemesis.
little bit of a nemesis.
Ah! I was trying to dodge and I didn't do good, and I can't dodge.
We're real low on help.
Yep. This is horrible and
MSS.
rude. Eco Gribble!
It's gonna gribble. Oh, I like that weird grabbing stance.
Fuck! Why do you? You can't just fucking do that! Shit. It's fine.
Man, just dodge. Just dodge the guys.
Whoop!
Whoop. Hey! That was
Anytime he
very
gets-
rude.
I don't know where I am going. I am so very. Oh, here. Oh, here. Oh, you want me to go here?
Ah! On page.
Please stop.
Just want to go to here.
Oh. Well, it is time for this.
We earned it. Oh, heck. We only got 2 of the things. Sorry, Nemesis, we have to come back and just
Ooh.
Can you go away? Oh, nice.
Okay. I'm happy with this. That's not what I meant to do.
They're always nice, because, like, even if they don't do that much, they make your guns look different, and it's like, I'm progressing.
I do love that.
My gun has more shit on it now. Look how good I'm doing.
Monument and a simple lock. Okay. Well, I don't think the other bit that we needed, unless it was in the bad bug hell.
I think it's probably on the street, or in that little... Is there a little door on the street that we didn't go in?
Does seem like it. And I just, like, I can't go through it all anymore, can I?
No,
Well-
I think we closed it so Nemesis couldn't get in.
That's fine. We got a stock, and that's exciting.
Like, nobody said you were 100% wrong.
No, but I know that there were things. I know that things exist, and I want things.
I don't think things exist. I think everything outside this room does not exist anymore. It's fine.
Oh, I see. Okay. I will take those with me. This feels like a little bit of overkill, but it's fine.
If we're under time pressure, using the pistol to get zombies out of the way is just out of the question. They take too many
Yeah.
shots. So we do kind of need the
shots
pistol and the shotgun and ammo for both.
Yeah.
Mostly. But we need 30 to 40 minutes to finish maintenance.
Oh, can I go back out then? Is that cool?
Nikolai, how are we doing?
The town's crawling with those freaks. No chance of fighting our way out of the city.
This fucking guy, though.
Why is she here?
scrolling with
freaks is like
Soviet Russia.
Bad time to start carrying dead weight, friend. She's unreliable.
Sorry.
Can't pull the trigger when it counts.
Hey, take it easy.
She'll get you killed.
Sorry about that. Everyone's a little worked up.
That's my Russian uncle Nikolai. He's kind of a dick.
Oh, come on. Not again.
We gotta go. It's time to go.
It's me he's after.
Hey.
I'll buy you
Jill, I didn't agree to this.
No!
Well, okay, I guess this is what we're doing.
Creepy ass stalker. You want stars? I'll give you stars.
I'm gonna be seeing stars when I'm through with you. I do like all these helpful electrical boxes around to electrocute our nemesis with.
Very nice. Very helpful. Jill, please! You have to go faster!
Do it better, Jill. Come on, Jill.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit ass!
Fine.
Sorry, I like how he phased into the cutscene.
Yeah.
Oh, that was very funny.
Took me a minute to realize he wasn't supposed to be there.
Right? I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna die. Nah, it's fine.
Not the sewers.
Yeah, I'm not
Carlos, do you
excited about being down here.
Carlos! Ugh, shit. Oh, I need to find another way out.
Well, let's start with this first, okay?
A map of the area.
Can we fight Nemesis? We probably can, right? I know that like in the original it's like a choice. Do you wanna fight him or do you wanna run? I assume it's the same here.
I assume
I'm not sure, to be honest. It does seem like he wants you to just run, and the objective says to like just run, right?
yeah. I would consider fighting him, but thus far it has sort of just made it seem like you can't do anything, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Need to remember about the quick turn.
Also, can we put that one shotgun shell in the box? I'm sorry.
I was gonna use the shotgun like next is the thing, so I could clear up the
That's
space.
fine.
That's what's going on there.
It's driving me crazy. There's a single shotgun shell taking him all that deck space.
I want to get rid of it as soon as possible.
Takes up the same amount of space as a fire hose. A shotgun shell.
Listen, it's a bulky shell, okay?
Oh, what was that?
This sounds fine. But yeah, no, the plan was to like use it next because I also don't want it there, but I don't want to leave it in the box because then I'll forget that it's there. Unauthorized personnel in the area, new electronic locks, requires a special made battery pack. Okay. Well,
Don't have one.
Looks like it needs a
don't
power
have
source.
that.
Unbudgeable.
Would you like my single shell?
Kayshurrr in the poo.
Yeah, I don't really have any other option.
Oh. I'm definitely running those folks.
Jill just fucking throws up all over and then goes and runs around in poop in the
Where
scam.
are you going, Jill? Pressing
again, I'm
E is
sorry.
optional. Oh, that's fine. If you just stand near something, you'll activate it.
Leon's a bit like that in the Harry 4 remake with ledges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just loves jumping.
Okay, that's locked. Don't have a thing for this. My shotgun is very long now.
Yeah, it's definitely longer, and you didn't like put anything on the barrel.
It's because of the stock.
Yeah, I thought I already had a stock. I mean, I guess it had
Well-
a slightly shorter stock, but
It has a longer stock now.
big stock. Isn't it called adjustable stock? Joel, you could probably make that smaller so you could. So you could.
Poop grenade. Oh my god, are you shitting me?
Oh, that'll be even more potent than a regular grenade.
Don't even
Perfectly good
care.
shotgun shell that could have gone in the box for when you need to take out one single shotgun shell.
Don't even care. Ah! Sorry. I
Was
forgot
that Malbro from Final Fantasy? Is that a frog?
Is a frog. Ah!
Insert picture of that sad frog plushie. Ah! Okay,
So that's an instant kill.
that makes sense. I can see why that would kill you. We got frog. We got frog problems.
Froglums. Sorry, that was stupid.
Kind of like the stupid frog.
I love
Not
the
so much
stupid-
the froglums. Can we, Kesh, you have to put.
No.
Kesh, this is your conscience speaking.
No.
The one shotgun shell has to go in the box.
Listen, I know about Frog now. I'm ready to
That's fine.
take out Frog.
Oh god.
We
done.
lure Frog
meet
over
Frog.
here. We shoot Frog. We shoot Frog with shotgun. We bomb Frog.
You shoot gun on frog. That spread is massive.
Yeah, it's a little more
Is-
than I was anticipating.
It does not conform to where the like marker on the screen goes.
Not
It
in the
is
slightest. Where is he?
way bigger. It's got the spread of Ratchet's shotgun.
What the
Oh,
fuck
he's
was
dead.
Alright.
Well, I
Well,
just
now we
wasted
know.
a second grenade on him, but grenade good on him.
Yeah. Blows him up real good. It turns into that. Goopus.
Horrible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't always get me one. Needed the shotgun shell as well? Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's nice to know that, like, that first shot that I fired did actually hit him. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was...
he would have had to tell, like, genuinely if he'd done anything to him.
I was uncertain.
Because it just went in all directions.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
It went to everything.
Which is fine, but it's not the kind of shotgun we need right now. Horrible.
Kidding me.
Is there a box?
I mean, yeah, back at the beginning.
I need one not at the beginning. That's for grenade rounds. It's gotta be right.
Fucking... Hold on. Okay, let's do that.
I also like
Then-
in Resident Evil how like they do different weapons for the two characters,
You said
but it's
do
not
you.
like I did. It's not like Jill girl, so she can't use the big weapons. Jill gets the grenade launcher, and Chris gets the Magnum.
Mhm.
That seems a fair trade, a fair swap.
Yeah. My little darlings, it's already been 3 months since we fled here together. I find myself thinking back to the day you hatched. Your little voices made me tremble with pride. Your adorable little bodies, brimming with incredible destructive power. And of course, that ferocious, insatiable appetite. You're no less than the pinnacle of the Hunter series. And yet, they ordered me to destroy you! They said you were unfit to use as weapons because of a few minor vulnerabilities. So what if you're susceptible to heat? So what if your delicate mandibles are exposed when you feed? Haven't they heard of character flaws? It is those very flaws that make you so very, very precious to me. But we'll show them yet. Down here, we'll continue to walk this evolutionary path together. We'll prove to Umbrella that you, my beloved Hunter Gammas, are truly superior. Hey bud, listen, friend? I don't think they are. I love them. They're big lumpy boys. But
They are adorable. Wesker should have factored that into his assessment.
Right? Okay. We will come back to this room. Because at this moment, we don't have enough space for anything found in that room.
That's fine.
Tender mandibles.
I like that they kind of deflate.
Yeah. What's over here? I'm sorry.
Jill's covered in poop.
Yeah. A bunch of shit that I can't have. Great. Sewer workers, nope. It happened again. They got caned this time. Saw it all. One of those things just swallowed him whole, head to toe. Tried to warn them when Bill went missing 2 weeks back. Cop said he'd probably skipped town, but I said no way. Not with his baby coming any day. But did they listen? Nope. This is bullshit. Fucking puke-breathing, toad-faced motherfuckers. Every time I think I've lost them, another one pops out of the tunnels. It's not like I can count on the fucking cops. Don't trust those pencil pushers at HQ either. Next time one of those freaks shows its face, I'm gonna hit it right in its big ugly mouth.
I think he wants you to shoot them in the mouth.
You
I think that's what the game is saying. Well, we can pick up the shells now.
No.
Were there even more? Sorry, I thought they were like...
Well, because I only had space for one, and so she grabbed the one.
But you have space for loads.
Well,
Do
I
you?
have now. Now I do.
Okay. That makes
Before
sense.
I didn't. Because I combined the things to make shells.
Confused, Kish, because I'm very silly.
That's fair. Were there more shells here? No, it is just the gunpowder. Okay. And the battery pack.
Yeah, we need the battery pack. We probably want a fucking explosive.
Yeah.
Gunpowder, we could take a leave, but since we're coming back anyway, we should probably take it.
Yeah. Let's...
At least
go
we cleared the
killing-
path. So we needed to do that anyway.
Yeah. We can go take out the other hunter that's down that way.
Yeah.
Hear you. Come on.
It's gonna come wibbling out. I kinda love him.
Same.
This is a cool design.
I like
Hey.
and he deflate.
Big lumpus toad. And there's classic Resident Evil enemies that do not look like that, but it's scary whenever they're mentioned. Scary lads.
More explosive. Research assistance logs. Gamma's released from tank for the first time. Movement sluggish. Combat potential low. Experimented with additional hormones and drugs. One adjustment bore positive results with a significant rise in combat potential. Specimen is now able to move quickly and swallow prey whole.
Cool.
Umbrella has officially shut down gamma research. We managed to smuggle some specimens with especially high potential from the lab before disposal. Dr. Logan Carlisle is more committed than ever to perfecting the gamma line. 2 weeks since relocating to the sewers, increased temperatures have led to a decrease in water quality, but specimens appear fine despite my concerns. I don't think they do, though. They do kind of have lots of, like, boils on them.
They love it. It's their favorite.
It's their favorite. Gamma's quickly learned the layout of the sewers, and within 2 days we're exploring the entire underground of Raccoon City. All specimens are familiar with and friendly towards us, but I have procured high-powered weaponry as a safeguard in the event that they become uncontrollable. We were lucky to secure the
grenade
space.
launcher for us? Sorry.
Maybe, potentially, hopefully. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We were lucky to secure the space by bribing the sewage department chief, but it's beginning to feel cramped due to the gamma's continued growth. We should begin to consider the other possible arrangements. The water treatment worker found his way into the lab, but the gammas promptly eliminated him. This proves their viability for field use, because they killed some random unarmed man. Great. I'll reach out to Umbrella's European branch tomorrow. Perhaps they will see light. God, they're so...
Oh, hey. Grenade launcher?
Okay. We will put those away now, because there are more than a single one.
Partial. Think of the things
will-
it could have done.
It
It was
took- it-
fine, actually, yeah. It helped kill the first guy.
Yeah! What are you talking about?
I don't know, we can have the grenade launcher for now, it's just too big.
Yep, but that's fine, because we have a decent way of dealing
We
with
need-
the dudes right now.
Yeah.
Gunshop Kendo! Thank you for purchasing the XXXXXXX grenade launcher. We've made special...
Is this legal?
Absolutely not.
I don't think this is okay.
We've made special adjustments to this piece to ensure compatibility with a variety of ammunition types. For optimal performance, be sure to choose the right ammo for the right situation. As we discussed at the time of purchase, this is a refurbished model, and the chamber needs to be manually cycled between shots. It'll take an extra moment, but this is reflected in the price, as agreed. Handwritten note on reverse. Explosive rounds, explosive A times 2. Flame rounds, explosive A plus explosive B. Acid rounds, B times 2. Mine rounds? Can't be readily crafted, not worth stocking up on. Won't help if we need to keep the gammas in line. Okay, well. We'll take that. We'll put that away. And
whose grenade launcher is this? Is this just the sewer workers' grenade launcher?
it's the researchers.
But they work
Jill,
for
please.
Umbrella.
Not anymore.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because
They're the rogue frog scientists who live in the sewers.
Yeah, they love their frogs, and they were like, or Umbrella was like, it's the job or it's the frogs, and the guys were like, I choose my frogs, and they left. And honestly, I don't blame them. Good frogs.
Believe in frog. Yeah, that's fine.
I love frogs. What can we say?
I also love frog. Oh, nice.
Those.
Oh, heck,
I
we
can't.
can't take nothing. We can only fit the
Yeah.
berry.
That's okay because we'll get the battery pack, and then we'll go get the hip pouch.
Okay.
And then we'll probably save at that point because it's been 2 hours and it's starting to get. It's not late per se, but it is
Yes.
getting on in hours.
I have heard this one's pretty short as well, so we're probably like halfway.
Jeez. Ah!
Oh! I heard you had the battery pack.
Fuck!
Heck. 227 when we're at the place. No, game, we don't want to go on assisted mode.
I had to like.
I hate when games do that.
Right?
Hey, you just died.
Oh!
Do you want to go on easy mode? No, we'll walk back the 10 seconds. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I didn't save, but it did checkpoint me, so that's pretty nice.
Like, there's nothing wrong with playing games on easy mode, but I think it's only ever annoying when the game asks you if you want to switch down because you died.
Hey, you
I
died,
think
especially
anyone-
like our super cheap deaths. Do you want an easier mode? You seem to be having a hard time dodging our not our scripted, but our very cheap deaths here.
It's that
Fuck.
it goes so far. And you don't always stop when you shoot him.
Yeah.
And you kind of need him to, because we only have 4 bullets, and we have to
Yeah.
reload them one by one. It takes a minute.
I left my grenades back. Okay, great. Cool.
This isn't too bad. Just
I'm gonna
just make-
activate him and then run back.
Alright.
Come on.
I think we'll be okay if we, like, make sure his mouth's fully open before we shoot, because, like, I think the problem is the game's like, no, actually, his mouth are only 87% open. That doesn't count.
Okay, and then we reload and run away.
Yeah, that works.
Sir.
That's not too bad. You just gotta make a bit of space. Like, if he hadn't died then, we could have just turned around and ran away
Yeah.
a bit further. It's just... you know, it says shoot them in the mouth and they stop, and then you shoot them in the mouth and they don't stop.
Yeah, it's the lack of
They
flinching
kill you in one hit.
that's a little bit of an issue. Ah! Sorry, shit.
Yeah, we understand Frog now, so you'll never defeat us. We're Frog experts.
Frog spurts.
Horrible. Gross.
Okay, I think I need to actually, like, aim specifically for a mandible. I can't just shoot in his mouth.
Okay, that's weird.
Because that was a little more consistent with
Yeah,
him
that
flinching.
that got him every time, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's just what I gotta do.
I think the shotgun had hit all of it, right? But
You'd think.
apparently not. Like, where is the actual projectile going when you fire the shotgun? It's bothering me.
It was somewhere. Oh, I can't get... Okay, I can't get the pouch because it's up. But that's fine. We can do this.
Can we go up now? Up!
This is precarious.
Yeah, we got a lot of space to back off now. Okay. This is manageable, and I do think the design's really cool.
Yeah.
Big silly blob frog.
I do like Blob Frog.
Well,
I
that
just
goes
wish-
into the earlier sewers part. Oh, is it like way up? I've completely forgot where we came from.
I think... What is this? There is a
Oh no,
battery
that just gets us right back outside to the door we opened a second ago, I think.
Oh! Yeah, but
Yeah, that's rubbish, actually.
pouch
Oh,
is
wait, do
there,
we need
but
the...
I can go through here and I can take the battery pack. I understand. I get it.
Oh, right. I didn't realize we'd left it. Okay, I understand.
I did, but I didn't think I could reclaim it.
That makes sense.
I thought I was gonna have to find a couple of different battery packs, but this makes sense. And now I can kick down this ladder that I saw earlier.
Nice.
And there's still stuff in that lab. It's just gunpowder. It's just gunpowder. I don't need it.
Not worth getting any more poop in the shoes.
No. Poor shoes are so gunky.
Yeah, those shoes are a write-off.
I gotta throw them away. Oh?
Oh?
I need to go back up? How do I get in here?
Oh.
The door there.
How do we...
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I see, I understand. I don't know
Taunting us
the-
with that battery pack?
Yeah.
That extra pouch?
Go back down. It doesn't matter, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
do that.
Why is the battery so big?
I don't know.
Like, it's not actually that big in game. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Big inventory.
Candies.
Sweets.
Gunpowder. I want to go back and get the other gunpowder.
We can go back and get the other gunpowder. It's fine. I need those bullets.
Says that there's something else in here, and I don't know what.
Yeah, I hadn't seen nothing. Just rub up against all the walls until it says.
Oh, there it is.
It's a explosive.
Can I take that back? Because I think there was one more door down below, right there.
Yeah. That's gotta be where we're going, right?
I
Oh, no, wait.
think- Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So if we need that gunpowder, should probably get it first.
I don't wanna go back. What's this? Oh. Well.
Well, it's gone now.
There was a note here once. It's gone now. I will run back to the safe room though, because I think we'll probably call it here.
That's fair.
And then maybe next weekend, if I remember, we can go get the other gunpowder.
Yeah. What have you thought so far?
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
having
nice
fun
to
with
chill
it.
again.
Yeah.
It's obviously not as good as RE4 Remake,
Well,
but this is
nothing
kind of
could
the one
be.
that phoned in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
In
but
between
yeah.
2 and 4, which are both get like 10 out of 10 reviews.
So good. So good. This is definitely one where it's like, I'm again, like, I'm going into it knowing it's not necessarily going to be as good as the others. But it's still, like I said earlier, like, it takes a lot to fuck up a Resident Evil game so that it's not fun.
I liked the running around on the streets bit.
Yeah.
that were the best bits so far, right? And then there were the horrible bug section, which was like really gross for no reason.
Yeah.
Like that were a little bit too gross.
Yeah. On all levels, it just wasn't necessary.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a thing that basic enemies do.
Yeah. Yeah, please don't tongue my character. That's not the kind of game I want to play.
Plus,
Also,
I don't
don't
wanna
make
see
me watch
Jill
my
throwing
character
up every
vomit.
5 dang minutes. It's just all bad.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily a fan of the quick time events that just instantly fail you out. Those aren't cool. But Nemesis looks great. Look at him.
Beautiful. What a beautiful boy. I'm pretty sure Nemesis turns into a dog at some point too.
Yeah, it's like one of his. Oh, excuse me.
The ultimate form of everything is dog.
Facts though.
Actually, the ultimate form is worm, obviously.
We love worm here. Let me get us to. There we go. We don't have to look at a blank screen, but I need to be able to do raid stuff, and I can't do that with that game because it likes to lock my cursor in, even with a borderless windowed setting. So that's cool and fun and fine. Y'all wanna go say hi to Gookie? Did we raid
I want to
Gookie
say
recently?
hi to Cookie. I think we did, but Cookie.
It's Gookie. Let's go say hi to Gookie. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying it so far. Oops, caps lock is on. Definitely some things that I am less than impressed with, but it's still fun. I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably finish this next weekend. Maybe not on Saturday, but
Yeah, we'll probably
this
finish
next
next weekend.
weekend. Yeah.
People say it's like real short. It's like cat seat being more than 6 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. We're gonna go right over to Gucky. We will did I start the raid? I did start the raid. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go say hi to Gucky. It looks like they are doing some makers and crafting stuff. Might be working on the Afghan that they've been working on for a while. I don't know. We'll go find out. Yeah. Plan is for me to stream. I will stream this week and we'll do stuff. I don't know what though. We'll figure it out. It'll be great and fine and fun.
It's fine.
It's fine. Until then, have a good time zone, friends. Take care of
Bye,
yourselves.
friends.
Bye.
Jump to